Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures! We got another Wargames Atlantic box in the mail today, courtesy of Reptilian Overlords, and we've got their Space Nam. Space Nam. We've got the war in Vietnam and outer space. Now look at these roided out muscle heads. Every day is a great day to be in the Corps. Another beautiful day, right? And we all know, you guys are all going to want to use these as like Jungle Fighter Catachan types. And I am totally down with it. Let's see, we've got edged weapons, blast pistols, standard rifles, flamethrowers, grenade launchers, sniper rifles, and plasma and heat weapons. Sounds great. The only downside to this box... What is it? We only get enough to make 20. Now I know that is a decision on Reptilian Overlord's part. You know, they get to call the shots. This is the set that they made. But it looks so neat. And I'll be honest, I couldn't resist. I remember when the Catachans first came out. I'm old enough to remember, and I'm still in awe of how ugly they were. I never liked them. I liked the concept. You know, I grew up watching Predator. I grew up playing Contra. But they just never did it for me. So right off the bat, you can see here, everybody's going to have a nice round ball joint for the legs to attach to the body. Looks like we got 4 bodies to a sprue. Front and back there. Only 1 backpack. That's a bit of a bummer. I like having backpacks. We do have quite a few pouches. That's a good sign. And a ton of heads. I mean, a ton of heads. We've got all the berets over here. We've got all the bare-headed versions here. A couple helmets here and there. More pouches. Looks like everybody's going to have to be armored up. It doesn't look like we have any totally shirtless John Rambo options, unfortunately. That's a shame. Looks like we only have 1 machete per sprue. But then again, you know, there are the 5 sprues, so you got a few of them. I'm assuming that is the standard rifle, because that looks the same as this one. I'm assuming that is our heat weapon, or our flamer. No, that must be the flamer right here. This must be our plasma equivalent. This must be our sniper rifle. Oh, there's a knife. Okay. 2 bladed weapons per sprue. And then our grenade launcher as well. So we've got all our standard support weapons and enough regular guns for the entire sprue. So you can outfit these guys however you'd like. I guess the only thing I don't really see is a lot of extra grenades, but I guess if you've played... I mean, there's a few. There's a few grenades here. If you've played guard long enough, you probably have quite a few extra. No, I take that back. Here's 2 more grenades. Okay, so there's a few there. Now, I was wondering, and I now know for sure, you can see that we do have the parts numbered off. I'm assuming with a matching piece, hopefully, so that everybody's hands match up. So like here's R2, L2 down here. So I'm going to go put some of these together. We will grab some other Wargames Atlantic and some other Grimdark of the Far Future Warriors, see how everything turns out, and hopefully be impressed by the results, because it looks like we got a nice full sprue of goodies here. So sit tight. Alright, our Space Nam boys are all put together. Well, I put a few of them together at least. And it's funny, these ones with the berets, I know everybody always thinks, you know, Catachans and stuff when you have shirtless, big, roided out guys with machine guns, but the armor and the beret instantly makes me think of Doom Trooper. I don't know. The Blood Berets? Capital? I know it wasn't Mishima or Cybertronic. I've had a hard time remembering all of my various Mutant Chronicle Corporation guys. Maybe it was Imperial. Imperial, I think, were the ones that had the Blood Berets. But yeah, definitely gives me a Doom Trooper vibe with the big, bulky padded armored torso. They're big guys, and I'm surprised they actually fit on that 25mm base quite well. So that's a good sign. I was wondering, though, they're not really that big when all is said and done. Obviously, this is a Rumjäger from Wargames Atlantic as well. We'll just have our little armies on parade here of all the various Deathfields guys. The Bulldogs, the Grognard, I'm not going to try. We're not going to start counting any of the 3D printed stuff either, but with a, actually I guess probably of the bunch, the most obvious difference in physical bulk is with the cannon fodder guys. Although our Grognard guy feels a little short, and maybe it's just his pose? I don't know. So I'm noticing our Rumjäger is a little bit taller. So anyway, that's the first one I got built. I think due to the physical size of their muscles, so I was trying to mess around with replacing some of the arms, and unfortunately, I was having a hard time because most of the Wargames Atlantic models so far, they just don't match the bulk. And yeah, I'm going to go back and clean them up a bit. I know I had a very rough clip job there. Our sniper of the team. One thing that I didn't like, and I'm going to be picky about, is this pose right here. And I've never been a fan of it, and it doesn't matter the company, but the 1 foot barely touching the base, I don't like. Put a little bit of tactical debris around his foot if needed, just to give a little bit more ground to actually cover and attach to the base. Despite that, I mean, it's a cool pose, I guess, as he's dashing forward. I feel like it's like a Gears of War type guy. I saw somebody had done a great conversion of the Space Nom into a Doom guy by cutting off the barrel of the gun, and I could totally see it there. Very Gears of War, especially throwing a backpack. Bulk them up. I don't think they had backpacks on in Gears of War, though. Revive me! Look at that grimace. Sadly, I mean, looking at the proportions, if they were a little bit bigger, they'd be great, like Goliath stand-ins and all sorts of other stuff, but they're human size. They're just like 80s action hero size. I tried to build every basic weapon on the Sprue. I didn't do any of the close combat stuff. I saved the close combat just because we have so few bodies on the Sprue. I want to figure out what I'm going to do with everybody. But I at least wanted to get one of each special weapon, which I did. At least this one you can have 2 feet on the ground. That helps. I'm missing one though. Yeah. The grenade launcher. That's what we got. Our plasma, melta, grenade, flamer, sniper. I mean, you got all your regular bases covered. And I think it's just cool that Wargames Atlantic, you know, in conjunction with Reptilian Overlords, is doing this in the first place. I mean, we've got our Quars coming as well. And it kind of, I hope, opens the door to seeing more of this kind of stuff in the future from, you know, some of the smaller boutique companies. I mean, my thoughts were like, you know, Bombshell, Redbox Games. I think, you know, those smaller companies that have really well-established quality sculptors who I know have talked about wanting to make some of this stuff in other materials. I mean, I think it's a cool opportunity, and hopefully, you know, I don't know. I hope this continues to grow and flourish, and we see more of this line, you know, these kind of partnered plastics. But overall, it's a cool little kit. You know, it's just, I think, for the price and for the amount, it's going to be, you know, I think especially with the Wargames Atlantic sales on the website. That might be something to look into if you want to buy a bunch of them. Why am I showing an Aztec? Well, there was an arm on the sprue that has, it's a left arm holding the gun, and I was like, you know what would be cool is putting some of the Aztec parts on it. But unfortunately, maybe the head can work. The arms, as I was saying, they're just not proportioned right. And the Aztec hands and arms are kind of plain. I know he doesn't have a Mahakuatil, the Aztec war clubs. He doesn't have one. Do I have any Aztecs with them handy? No, I only have my pajama warriors. But again, you know, the bulk on the arms, whether they have sleeves or not, it's not there in comparison to these guys. So I think you're going to have to get a little creative if you want to start doing conversions. What I would probably do, and I think this works well, you'll notice he's got those armbands on. Not this hand, surprisingly, but most of the hands have them. So if you wanted, at least on the right hand, if you wanted to slice it off at the wrist, it's going to be pretty easy to do. Yeah, I think everybody's got it. Oh, some of them do have it on the left as well. So something to think about in your future conversions. And I'm kind of curious to see if we end up seeing any add-on sets either from Reptilian Overlords themselves in conjunction with Wargames Atlantic, or Wargames Atlantic releasing some bits to go along with it. If you guys haven't noticed, with the cannon fodder set, these guys, there's actually a whole bunch of extra cool little goodies you can get to 3D print to go onto them and you know, expand your variety of guys in generic jumpsuits. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing if we get more from Reptilian Overlords and Wargames Atlantic in plastic. You know, I think just the only real knock I have is the fact that, yeah, you don't get a lot, and I think the current plastics are going to have a hard time finding suitable conversions. There are tons, and I mean tons. If you go to Reptilian Overlords website, you'll see plenty of options for 3D printing their figures. They've got quite a variety of Space Nom stuff. So if this is something you're in the market for, do take a look there. And obviously take a look at Wargames Atlantic as well, because they often have pretty good deals for buying bundles on their website. So I think this is as close as I've ever come to ever building any Catachans. I've never once built a plastic guard kit from a specific planet. I think the last plastic guard kit I bought was the old school, was it like 2nd or 3rd edition, like the one where they have the guy carrying the flag on the box, like the original one with those super skinny las cannons. That, yeah, it's been a while since I touched Imperial Guard stuff. So I don't know, I'm gonna have fun with these, just painting them up as generic space dudes, 5 parsecs, space weirdo, Stargrave. You know, there's plenty of options in that regard. You know, you get these guys with a Stargrave guy, and then you can really see who's the manly man. Of course, you know, the base size. Even with the base size. I'm curious how big they are in comparison to Necromunda stuff. Do I have any Necro guys? Delac. Okay, that's not real. Well, they're all weird and bizarre, so I'll chalk that up to that. Somewhere I thought I had some Condor guys. I do. That's good. He's a little bit bigger, but these guys are, you know, freaks and homeless, starving hobos. So, anyways. All right. I think that's enough for me. I'm going to start getting these guys primed and prepped. I got to get them cleaned up anyways, and this video has been going on long enough. So I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell for the day. And with that said, take a look down below. We'll have those links as always. This has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.